Training. This includes money laundering, U.S. Patriots Act, the Office of Foreign Assets Control, Fair and Equal Credit Reporting Act, enhanced member due diligence as well. So nothing really brand new that you haven't learned before. We'll discuss a few options in a minute. But the first question is, who is your BSA officer?
Debbie.
Who is?
Debbie.
Debbie, okay. And we are recording this for the branches, So Debbie's the BSA officer, and the backup BSA officer is who? Is me, right? All right. We take this seriously because it's a federal law. It's a compliance issue. Not only that, but the credit union can be fined, and you can be fined personally if you do the wrong thing, or you could even go to jail for it. So take it seriously. There was a small credit union, a $4 million credit union down in Florida, that was doing things that they shouldn't be doing, and they weren't tracking it properly. They got fined $500,000 for a $4 million credit union. They were involved in money services businesses. They were opening accounts for businesses that issued traveler's checks, issued prepaid cards, cashed checks for people, payday lending, and stuff like that, and they weren't handling it properly. So they do take it seriously, and we can get in a lot of trouble. We'll cover the basic steps first. The first one is the member identification program, or know your member. Can y'all pass those handouts? Yeah, there's a pen for each one too. First one is know your member. You're all pretty well aware of all these things. The first one is if somebody comes in and wants to open an account, we have to see a government issued picture ID, an unexpired government issued picture ID. Of course, in most cases that's a driver's license. In some cases it's a passport. Typically, we verify that the person is a Nucor employee as well, especially at the branches. That's not a problem. We may or may not use telecheck if they want to open a checking account. If you cannot form a reasonable belief that you know the identity of the person who wants to open the account, what will you do? If you're not sure that you can identify that person, you don't open it. That's correct. BSA says that you're not going to do business with these people. OFAC, on the other hand, says we're going to check these people out and let us know if you have them as members. So BSA means we will not do business with them. All right, keep in mind that if someone tries to open an account under false pretenses, that we won't open their account, but that also means we're going to file a what kind of report? A SAR, a suspicious activity report. That's right. We'll talk about those later. But in addition to the government-issued picture ID, we always get a social security number for a member. Even if it's a child, we still have to have their social before we can open an account for them. We have to have their exact name. That means their real given name, not Bubba, not RJ, or what have you. We have to have their real physical name. Now, on our computer system, as you know, you can put their real name, and then you can put their alias as well, if they want to go by something else, good looking or whatever. Same thing, you have to also have the, if you have a joint owner on the account, we need the real physical name as well, along with the real physical address. If the member wants to use a P.O. box, that's fine. If you notice when you open an account, there's a place for their physical address and a place for the mailing address. Now, if they come in, and we see a lot of this at the branches, they come in and they say, well, I'm new to town, I don't have an address yet, I'm moving. What you need to do is use their address where they put their head the night before. Could be their home, wherever, or it could be where they spent the night at the hotel the previous night. Then when they get a real address, they can come in and change it. But they're not supposed to use like Nucor's address.
Yeah, I was going to reiterate that to branches, no Nucor addresses.
Yeah, no Nucor addresses. It has to be a physical address where they put their head last night. Their date of birth is another thing that we have to open an account. Let's talk a little bit about enhanced due diligence. This is where, for most members, it's really a no-brainer. They come in, they want to check an account, they have payroll, they have loans with us, and so forth, like a normal person would. We see most of this when it comes to business accounts. Now, as you know, we do let people open business accounts, but it's only in their name, using their social as the business account taxpayer identification number, okay? Only a social, not a business employee identification number, but just their social. And most of what you're going to see is maybe hairdressers, lawn services, dump truck drivers, that kind of thing. Dog groomers, that kind of thing. where they have their account under their social and they just have a separate business account. We flag those accounts. It's in your outline here. They're flagged as DBA accounts or doing business as accounts. Now these accounts, when we open the business accounts, we might as well go over it real quickly. There's a business account opening form later in here that asks what kind of activity the member is expecting to have, how much deposits they're going to make, what's the average amount, how often are they going to do it, blah, blah, blah. Well, we've seen several cases where the member opened the account like this, and then later on, all of a sudden they had the gross changes to the account, larger deposits, larger withdrawals, more activity. And if that's the case and you see that, whether it's on a member's account or a business account, let Debbie or I know. And in that case, we're going to go back to them and ask them to redo the business opening account. Like now instead of 10 deposits a month, I expect to have 20 a month, or I expect to have 50 a month, or my average deposit, I thought it was going to be $1,000, but now it's $10,000. Okay. So look for gross changes in financial behavior, and report these to Debbie or to me, and we'll take it from there. And we'll go over this again. If a non-member comes into the credit union with a member's check and they want to cash the check, you still have to check that person that you're giving the cash to make sure they're not listed on an OFAC list before you cash the check for them. And there is a way to do that. Of course, that's in your outline as well, how to do that, back office standard, OFAC utilities, demand scanning. And you can look up that person's name and see if they're on a list. If they're on a list, what do you do? Let them see the BSA officer or me. And we'll tell them that sorry, but we have to arrest them right now. I'm just kidding. But we wouldn't be able to cash the check for them without taking further steps. Office of Foreign Assets Control on page 2. This is primarily my job. I get a list at least every 2 weeks, more often when they feel like it. They tell me that I have to download this list and check it against our entire database to see if anybody we do business with is on that government most wanted list. And to this day, I really never have found anyone that they're looking for. Currency transaction reports. This again is where somebody brings in cash or gets out cash in a single day of over $10,000. You're all pretty well familiar with this, and we do keep an eye on this and watch it. Debbie also has an aggregate report every day of excess cash that'll tell us if somebody goes to Darlington, gets out $8,000, then they come here and get out $8,000. She can see that kind of thing.
It keeps up with their ATM withdrawals also.
Yeah, it keeps up with their ATM withdrawals as well. Do you want to talk about the guy that came in?
I can. A couple of weeks ago, maybe a month.
Can you come up here real quick?
I can.
Because they won't be able to see you.
I'm in. A couple of weeks ago, we had a kid come in for his parents. He brought in, I forget the amount of the cash. It was a lot of cash. He wanted to pay off his mom's account, seemed like it was $8,000 or so, and then put more money in his dad's account. So it ended up being over $10,000. The kid didn't do it. He had his own account, but he didn't do anything with his account. So therefore, he brought in over $10,000, affected 2 different accounts. So when we see that, let me know we need to file a report on him also, because he brought in over $10,000. So keep in mind, and Taylor caught this and brought it to my attention, and we researched it and had to send in a CTR on him.
And that's the kind of thing that would not show up on your reports because it doesn't affect the same account, right?
That's right, because he wasn't on their accounts. So just keep your eyes open if you see anything like that.
Okay, thank you, Debbie. Appreciate it. The big thing here with CTRs, it's pretty obvious if somebody brings in 10,000 or gets 10,000 out in a day. The big thing here is to watch for structuring. That's a big thing that's illegal, and that's what you can get in trouble for, and that's what people that do get in trouble for. A member comes in and they say, I've got $12,000 to give you. Are you going to fill out that form on me if I give it to you? Can you tell them yes? Yeah, that's public knowledge. You can say, yes, I'm going to have to fill out a form. And then they'll say, well, let me give you $8,000 today and $4,000 tomorrow. Well, you don't have to fill out the CTR form anymore. However, you have to fill out the secret form, the SAR form, and tell the government that you suspect them of structuring. If you don't do that, then you can be in trouble. In addition, if somebody comes in, they want to give you $12,000 cash, and Madison says, no, don't give me $12,000 cash, I'll have to fill out that form, give me $8,000 today and $4,000 tomorrow. That's what you can go to jail for. Okay, just so you know. So do not advise structuring. We must always have a quality control system in place. When Debbie fills out a form like that, I have to sign it and say it's reviewed by me. Suspicious activity reports called SAR, or something ain't right. If that sticks in your mind, if something ain't right, we do a suspicious activity report. And these reports are very important. If you fill out an SAR, or with Minor Debbie's help, fill out one, don't tell anybody else who's doing it. Don't tell anybody else that you're doing it. Don't tell anybody else what you've done it for obvious reasons. If somebody comes in and you suspect them to have robbed the bank down the street, and you don't say, well, I'm going to fill a suspicious activity report out on you because I think you robbed the bank down the street. Well, you wouldn't do that for obvious reasons, but you wouldn't do it for legal reasons as well, because if you keep it quiet, you have immunity under the law. You cannot be prosecuted. But if Harold goes and tells Madison, and he goes and tells Billy, and he can actually have to go testify in court if he does that kind of thing, and you don't have immunity anymore. So if you fill out a suspicious activity report, just work with me or with Debbie on doing that, and keep your mouth shut. You don't want to talk about that. Question for you. If you have to fill out a suspicious activity report on the manager of the credit union, who do you inform?
The board president.
The board president, that's right. Who is our board president right now? Terry White, right. We're also watching for a couple new things. One is elder exploitation. If a lady has a couple $100,000 in her account, and she's an older lady and she's never come in and all that, but all of a sudden her granddaughter got out of prison, and now her granddaughter's living with her, and every day the lady's coming in with the granddaughter, and she's kind of shaky and she doesn't want to take out the money, but her granddaughter's kind of forcing her to. If you suspect anything, like tell us, and we will inform the elder abuse hotline. Same thing with human trafficking. Debbie and I got some good training on that at the league, a couple months ago. And so we kind of have an idea what things to watch for in accounts.
Did you see the news article about the increased activity during the Super Bowl?
Oh yeah, that's when they say they do it.
I mean, but it actually happened.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, we learned a lot about it. So anything you suspect is different, weird, something just ain't right, let us know, and we'll talk about it and fill out a form if we need to, okay? All right, record keeping for wires. We all know where the wire book is at. We know how to fill out the logs. We know all about the verification of wires and all that kind of thing. You know, we do not do international wires. We only do domestic wires. The government's made it so hard to do international wires, so we just don't want to put up with it.
International include Canada?
Hmm?
International include Canada?
Yeah. And when we're thinking about identity and theft and things, you don't want to leave member files laying around. You don't want to have 3 member files on your desk and then go up to get something, and that person in there can look through them and get all their names and socials. So keep those hidden out of sight.
Let's go over that monetary instrument record keeping.
Well, monetary instrument record keeping, we don't do a lot of this. This is where somebody brings you $3,000 cash and in the same day gets a cashier's check for it. Typically, the member has money in their account, and we do a cashier's check out of the account with existing money. But monetary instrument record keeping is where they bring you in cash that day and get a check immediately that day. And typically, we say that our record of that is the check copy itself. We don't have a lot of that happens.
But it has to be logged on the log.
It has to be logged if it happens, and that's where somebody may bring in cash of $3,000 or more and buy a monetary instrument with it right then. Okay? It doesn't count if it's been sitting in their account for a while. Every year, the board of directors and myself update the risk assessment portion of our BSA policy and money laundering. We look for high drug trafficking areas in the country, of which we have 4 offices in. One is in Florence, the other one is in Decatur, Alabama, another one is in Memphis, Tennessee, and the entire state of New York is a high drug trafficking area. And we address those in our policy. In addition, the government has come out with what they call high intensity financial crime areas. And we only have 2 offices there, and they're both in New York State. And the way we approach it is we say we're a closed field membership. The office is behind security in a plant situation. It's only part-time. We only serve our members. We know them. We don't let people come in off the street. So we still consider it a low-risk area for us. Our BSA program has to be audited by an independent audit service every 12 to 18 months, and currently we use the CPA firm to do that for us. Record keeping, we keep all of our records for 5 years, whether it's a signature card, any approval codes, a credit report, a copy of ID or documentation that was reviewed, and that kind of thing. And here's a copy of the notice in here that we have to have posted in our offices, just to make sure we have a notice like that posted. Business account opening procedures, we talked a little bit about that earlier. I'll just say this, checks made out to a business must be deposited into the business account. Then you can let them withdraw the cash. If the check's made out to their business, you know, Joe's Lawn Service, then you have to deposit it in Joe's Lawn Service account, and then they can withdraw the funds out, so don't just cash them. I think we all know that. Anyway, and on this business account due diligence questionnaire for sole proprietorship only, we're just looking for ranges. I know that people say, well, gee, I don't know how much I'm going to do, but are you going to be depositing between $0 and $1,000 a week in your account, or are you going to be depositing between $5,000 and $10,000 a week in your account? Just ranges like that, okay? That's all we're looking for. And again, if you notice any changes, any gross changes in any member's activity, really, you should let me or Debbie know. But especially in business accounts. And these business accounts, we do take them a step further. Jeff has to do an audit of them, and he has to go back and review the excess withdrawals and deposit sheets just to see if they're trying to keep under the radar by structuring. And we filled out a few SARs on that over the past several years. So just keep your eyes open. If something ain't right, it ain't right. Let us know. And the sign-up sheets, make sure that you sign this one if you will, so I don't have to have so many. I'm going to have 12 or 13 anyway. So I'll pass this around, and if you'll sign it for me and date it, that'll be wonderful. And in the branches, if you'll sign where your name is at, and you can email it back to me or send it in with your work, either way, I have to have your signature too. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. If you have any questions, please ask.